One chilly morning in Wisconsin, a husband and his blonde wife were enjoying breakfast. The TV host announced, "Today, expect 4 to 5 inches of snow. Please park on the odd-numbered side of the street for the snowplows." So, the wife cheerfully went outside to move her car. A week later, during breakfast again, the TV said, "We're expecting around 15 inches today. Please park on the even-numbered side." The blonde wife smiled and moved her car once more. The following week, while they were eating, the announcer said, "Today, we might see more than 20 inches of snow, but..." Suddenly, the power went out. The blonde wife looked worried and asked, "Honey, what should I do? Which side should I park on for the snowplows?" With that familiar patience that every husband knows, especially with blondes, he replied, Why not just leave it in the garage this time?" Every morning in Los Angeles, the vice president of a big bank would stop by a bagel cart, run by a friendly vendor who was always reading the Wall Street Journal. One day, the vendor asked, "What do you think about the stock market?" Feeling superior, the vice president replied, "Why do you care?" The vendor smiled and said, "I have $15 million in your bank, and I'm thinking of investing." Curious, the vice president asked his name. "Todd Davidson," the man replied. Later at the bank, the vice president learned from the branch manager that Todd Davidson was a valued client with $15 million. Excited, he invited him to speak at a board meeting. At the meeting, the vice president introduced him, saying, "Mr. Davidson makes the best bagels in town and has a lot of money in our bank. Please share your story." Mr. Davidson began, "I came here 40 years ago as an immigrant with nothing. I changed my name to Todd Davidson. One day, I decided to buy flour and yeast and started making bagels. I saved every dollar, living simply and focusing on my business. Years later, I upgraded my cart to a better location. Then, 5 months ago, my brother, who was a drug dealer, passed away and left me $15 million. A well-known orthopedic surgeon has a leaky faucet at home, so he calls a plumber. The plumber arrives, takes a quick look, and in under 2 minutes fixes the problem. Just as he's about to leave, he says, "That'll be $200, please." The surgeon jaw drops in surprise. "Wait a minute, $200 for 2 minutes of work? I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I don't even charge $100 a minute." The plumber smirks and replies, "Oh, I get it. Before I became a plumber, I was a neurosurgeon." An elderly man picks up the phone and calls his son. "Listen, your mother and I are splitting up. After 60 years of misery, it's enough." "Dad, what are you saying? Splitting up? Are you serious?" I can't stand her anymore. I'm tired of her nagging and tired of talking about it." "Just call your sister and tell her." Then he hangs up. The son, worried, quickly calls his sister. "You won't believe this. Dad says they're getting divorced." "No way, I'm calling him right now." She dials their dad. "Listen, you two are not getting divorced. Tomorrow, we're both flying home to sort this out. Until then, don't hire a lawyer or file any papers. Got it?" She hangs up. The old man turns to his wife with a smile. Well, looks like we're having both kids for Christmas. And they're paying for their flights." An engineer passes away and arrives at the gates of heaven. St. Peter looks over his file and says, "Oh, you're an engineer? You're going to hell." The engineer heads to hell and walks through the gates. Soon enough, he starts feeling unhappy with the place. So he begins to redesign and build upgrades. Before long, hell got air conditioning, flush toilets, fridge, and elevators. The engineer becomes quite the popular figure. One day, God calls Satan on the phone. "How's everything down there?" God asks. Satan replies, "Things are fantastic. We've got air conditioning, flush toilets, and escalators. I can't wait to see what this engineer invents next." God raises an eyebrow. "An engineer? That's a mistake. He should be sent back right now." Satan chuckles, "No way. I like having him around. He's a real asset." God, frustrated, demands, "Send him back or I'll sue you." Satan bursts out laughing, "Sure." And where are you going to find a lawyer? A teacher asked her young students to get a family story with a lesson and share it the next day. The next morning, Liam went first. My dad is a chef. We were making a big cake for a wedding. One day, we had the cake in the truck and we hit a big bump. The cake fell over and it got ruined. The lesson? Don't rush things, be careful. Great job, the teacher said, smiling. Then it was Emma's turn. My mom is a veterinarian. We had 10 puppies waiting to be adopted, but only 5 found homes. The lesson? Don't get too attached to pets before they find a family. Well done, the teacher praised again. Finally, it was Max's turn. My dad told me about my Aunt Karen. She was a race car driver. One day, her car broke down during a big race. She had to jump out and run across the track, and all she had was a bottle of vodka, a wrench, and a helmet. The teacher leaned in, curious. Max went on. Aunt Karen chugged the vodka on her way across the track to stay cool. Then she found herself in the middle of the other racers. She used the wrench to knock out 3 of them until it slipped out of her hand. Then she put on the helmet and charged it a few more until it cracked. Finally, she tackled the last one with just her bare hands. The teacher gasped. What did your dad say was the lesson from that wild story? Max grinned and replied, Don't mess with Aunt Karen when she's been drinking. A man in his 30s had long dreamed of owning a flashy red sports car. After saving up, he finally made the purchase and couldn't wait to hit the open road. That evening, he decided to take it for a drive on the highway, eager to feel the wind in his hair and the power of the engine. The sun was setting, casting beautiful shades of orange and pink across the sky, and he felt alive, almost like he was in a movie. With a grin, he thought, Let's see what this thing can do. He pressed the gas pedal, and the speedometer shot up 70, 80, 90 miles per hour. The roar of the engine was exhilarating. Suddenly, he glanced in the rearview mirror and saw flashing red and blue lights. Panic set in. There's no way a cop can catch a sports car, he thought, adrenaline pumping as he pushed it even harder. He hit 100 miles per hour, the world around him a blur. But then reality hit. Running from the police was a bad idea. With a sigh, he eased off the gas and pulled over, feeling the thrill fade. The officer approached, serious and silent, taking the man's license and examining the sleek car. After a tense moment, the cop finally spoke. It's Friday the 13th, and I'm ready to go home. I don't want more paperwork. If you can give me an excuse for your speeding that I've never heard, I'll let you go. The man thought quickly, then replied, Well, my girlfriend ran off with a cop last week. I figured you were trying to bring her back. Have a great weekend, the officer laughed and walked away. And that's a wrap. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content.